Hi, this is Kris Wolfe with GoodGuysSwag.com, and it literally is 2 a.m. in the morning, and I'm here with my wife. This is my wife right here.
Hello.
And we just got back from a birthday party. So you get home at 2 a.m. and you're feeling hungry, and what's the first thing that you try to grab and eat? It's easy, you know? Lay's potato chips. Or if you think you're being really healthy, you might get the Tostitos multi-grain chips. Well, I'll tell you why both of them are bad. Actually, if you look at the carb content on them, they're both about the same. So it's 2 a.m., you're feeling hungry, you want something to eat, you grab the chips, and right about that time, if you've been hearing about glycemic indexes or anything like that, with carbs, your body responds with insulin. So basically, when you have insulin come into play, it's great in some sense. It's a storage hormone. So it's going to take those calories, each carbohydrate that you just consumed, and it's going to actually store it as fat or it's going to store it as muscle. So if you're interested in being lean, then there's a couple or 3 rules that I learned from bodybuilding that will have application to you at 2 a.m. in the morning, because Taco Bell is not the best choice. Tostitos are not the best choice, and obviously baked Lays aren't the best choice. There's a limit on how many carbohydrates you can have an intake on. There's a limit on how many proteins you can have an intake on. But there's one thing that you can eat a limitless amounts of, and that's your green leafy vegetables. So I'm getting kale right now, a green leafy vegetable. And I know you're tempted at eating chips at 2 a.m. in the morning, but if you have 10 minutes, I'm going to show you how to make kale chips. You eat kale chips, you can be ripped. Here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the kale and we're going to rinse it off, because I buy it from the grocery store. And I don't want there to be any residue on it, even though I did buy organic kale. And after you get each piece clean, you're going to just tear off little amounts like this. Little bits and pieces. You're going to put them on a little baking tray or whatever these things are called. I'm not a cooking expert or anything.
It's a baking pan.
A baking pan. I'll let my wife describe that. We're going to take each of those there. So after you have the tray full with a nice little layer of kale chips, which will look something like this, we're going to come over and we're going to get a little bit of olive oil. And I just drizzle a little bit of olive oil on. And after I've drizzled it on, I'm going to take my hands, I'm just going to make sure that all of the kale is equally covered. Just a little bit like this. After you have all the leaves on here covered a little bit with olive oil, you know, if you want, you can get some salt. I personally prefer, by the way, I did just pick some kale up off the floor because kale is a superfood and it's not worth wasting. So you can take a little bit of sea salt, you can drizzle it over the top like this, and then I have the oven preheated to 385, so I'm going to put the kale chips in, and you're going to set the timer for about 12 minutes or so. Now after the kale has been baking for a good 10 minutes, we're going to pull it out, and as you can see right here, ow, it's hot! Woo! Woo! But come on up here, and as you can see, there is a nice little brown crisp top to it, and then when you pick it up, it should feel and sound crunchy like this. Mmm. It's better than a tater chip. It's a superfood, nutritious kale chip. You want one, baby? Mmm.
Oh my God.
The perfect 2 a.m. snack.
Yeah. 0 freaking calories. On GoodGuysSwag.com.
Sayonara, Good Guy Swag.